Hello everyone, it's me, Seafoam Gaming, back with what I guess we can call Season 2 of Eternal Memories. After that summer break and a whole lot of time filled with life stress, anxiety, and unscripted memories non-stop, I'm back to going into detail about my past, things I grew up with, and giving thoughts on how they have aged today, and maybe if you would like the stuff I liked growing up. Now, the subject of today's episode, if you couldn't tell from the epic intro I made, is based off a trip I flew together many, many months ago, before it even became a meme. I swear I did not time this towards the meme. It was planned since May, and I guess the delay was worth it in the end? But anyways, being obsessed with the content creator Jimmy D. Pooper's YouTube Poops at the time, I add CDI Cutscenes as a joke to the stuff I should cover next. And somehow it turned out to be the winner. So I figured out that I might as well go over my memories of the cutscenes. Because I know for a fact that I will sure as heck will not be buying any of the games or the system with dying clocks inside of it anytime soon. This will be a bit of a tricky Eternal Memories episode to go over, since most of my memories of this subject matter are rather boring. So I'm gonna try and spice it up a bit by giving you some impressions of the epicness you'll be seeing on screen. So I don't know if this review will be short or long, or if it'll even be a retrospective. It seems like more like a reaction video of sorts, but we'll see regardless. So the story behind why the CDI games were made. Other people have explained in detail. I don't need to be yet another person who says it was because Nintendo and Sony couldn't get along back in the day. The only things of note that I'll bring up is that the Zelda CDI duel came out in the US right after Link's Awakening on the Game Boy launched, with Zelda's Adventure launching the following year, shortly after Hotel Mario. Most people mistakenly believe that Hotel Mario launched right after the Zelda duel, or even on the same day, but that's not the case. Despite having similar anime cutscenes that are mocked by the YouTube community and animes in general, the games were developed by two separate companies, and even Zelda's Adventure was made by companies separate from those two developers. Animation Magic made the Zelda CDI duo, while I don't really know who made Hotel Mario, and I know that some company named Vendetti or something made Zelda's Adventure. Which means in the case of the Zelda games, Zelda's Adventure was the final Legend of Zelda game to be released for nearly 4 years until Ocarina of Time finally hit the market for the Nintendo 64. Imagine being the biggest Zelda fan in the world, or at least you think you are, and you have to live with a boring Game Boy Adventure and 3 horrible games on an insanely expensive platform to tide you over until Ocarina of Time came out. I'd go insane after a dud 100% playthrough of A Link to the Past, as I'd be wanting something different. Well, at least there were other games on the Super Nintendo to tide people over. The CDI? Well, if you only own that system, then congrats, you have something that can't even play Tetris properly, and also contains tons of generic edutainment software that's worse than the stuff I grew up with in my elementary school. From what I've gathered from reviewers such as GameSack, the CDI Quartet are actually some of the best games for the system, which is rather depressing considering how some people generally consider the Zelda CDI trilogy to be awful, with Zelda's Adventure being the absolute worst game of them all. But Hotel Mario? I honestly remember playing a clone of that concept with closing doors before enemies reopen them on a Flash website way back in the day. And the main complaint people have is that Hotel Mario is just really repetitive, frustratingly difficult, and boring. Of course, I haven't played any of those games for myself because expensive consoles are boring, and I only know you can emulate them. I don't even like to emulate. So with the arbitrary history segment out of the way, let's finally dive into the main attraction everyone can enjoy for free. And if you've been on Twitter or YouTube the past few months, you probably already have seen some of these. The glorious cutscenes to the CDI games. Now, how I first discovered them was through what I assume was the way lots of people back in 2008 discovered the cutscenes, through the glorious YouTube poop parodies. But back then, I actually had no clue what they were even supposed to be, and I was exposed to it entirely on accident. I can't even find the original YouTube poop that started it all for me, but I still remember what the video was about, and what it was called. It was something along the lines of Link transforms into a Pokemon, and being a little kid, I thought it was something ultra cool and epic. But it was really just a simple edit of that first Mystery Dungeon anime special, With the scene near the beginning where Squirrel wakes up and finds out he's a Pokemon, edited to have Link's face photoshopped on it. Needless to say, I screamed in terror that day, thinking it was horrible fan art, but several years later when I actually got into watching YouTube poops, I would learn more about what these were. Epic parodies that can take you on amazing journeys that remix the source material in amusing ways, some of which are so amazing and hilarious that it's actually remarkable to see what people can do to transform these overall boring cutscenes. But this isn't a retrospective about YouTube poop. It's about the actual cutscenes. So let's get back to not having fun by watching the Hotel Mario cutscenes, since that was the game with the first CDI cutscene I was exposed to in full. Oh boy, I think I saw the Hotel Mario cutscenes in 2009 or 2010 maybe? I know for a fact it was after I heard the actual system and games through the Angry Video Game Nerd. Through the censored edits that people would make on YouTube for kids like me who didn't want their grandparents to lose their minds when they heard James Rolfe going with the F-bombs. I didn't need censorship though to know that these games were really weird looking. Needless to say, after learning what they were, I decided to look up the cutscenes for myself, and the glorious Quebec gamers. The watermark that's on nearly every single YouTube poop during the last decade before people actually found out how to record high quality footage from the games themselves. I know the people who record these probably didn't have HD capture devices back in the day, and they probably even couldn't get them considering how Quebec likes abandoning that isn't Frenchy French, but this is really weird to look back at now. Oh well, you'll be looking at these cutscenes the way I have to look at them. So, let's get started with the epic intro to Hotel Mario, which actually wasn't the first theme from the game that I saw. We'll touch on that cutscene a bit later, but here you get to see them doing an epic walk cycle that I just showed you in the intro to this Eternal Memories. I call it the Hotel Mario Walk, before Bowser pops up and gives a fuzzy generic laugh from 2006.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? Hey,
Wait,
Luigi?
what? Did
Hey,
he
Luigi?
just say?
Hey, Luigi?
Gay Luigi?
Hey, Luigi?
That's so offensive!
Hey,
Oh my
Luigi?
god! This must not be tolerated anymore! But in all seriousness, literally anyone who saw the Quebec Gamers version of these cutscenes thought the same exact thing, except for how it was offensive, because we weren't as sensitive back in the day. A lot of people found it really funny, to the point it actually made it onto Nola Meme and was a popular subject for YouTube hoops. If you couldn't guess, that isn't what Mario actually meant to say. He was trying to say A. But like with my speech, sometimes we mess up, and that's okay. I still think you're an epic meme, Gay Luigi. Anyways, Luigi goes on about, and then they read a generic note from a random door. Blah blah blah, Luigi Hoop material until we get to a few funny moments near the end, where Luigi says something that people interpret as going to hell, and Mario breaks the fourth wall and asks the viewer to check out the enclosed instruction book.
Check out the enclosed instruction book.
Anyways, back on topic. Case in point, the game has lots of other cutscenes that play in between each stage, and most of them are just plain stupid or have weird things happen with no explanation. If I went over every one of them, this video would be longer than it already is. So with that, I'll just jump to the two secret cutscenes that stood out to me the most and I found hilarious as a kid. Let's start with the one that exposed me to the game to begin with.
Ha ha! Here's the problem. Too many toasters. You know what they say, all toasters toast toast.
Yes. This is the particular scene that made me hooked on these games. So, bread that I don't even like to eat fries out from the toasters, and in the actual game this causes the stages to not turn dark anymore. Lay? And Mario sounds like he's kind of funny in this stage. Oh well.
That ought to do it. Where'd she go?
But here's the next secret cutscene, and this one's a lot more funny for me for multiple reasons. Oh wow, I need to replay this. There we go. My 10-year-old self is kicking into high gear. That's some epic background noise, baby. But yeah, I always found this to be one of the best scenes in the game solely because YouTube poopers could go absolutely insane with it, even back in 2008. Making Mario travel to wherever the heck he pleases. Maybe I should try something like that. Ooh, wait a second! Too bad iMovie doesn't let me do much more than that. Oh well, moving on. The rest of the cutscenes follow the same confusing formula as the others, with none of the actual scenarios being memorable in any way. There are a few good lines here and there.
You get off my cloud!
But overall, this game's cutscenes are a mess, and in these classic low-quality versions of the cutscenes that we had to deal with back in the day, you can barely hear what people are saying without sounding like it breaks and going haywire with a wet fart. Just listen to how bad this compression is.
Spooky. This is it, Luigi. Remember, where there's smoke, there's fire.
And by far, the funniest moment in all of Hotel Mario in my opinion, looking back at both the old quality and high quality cutscene, this cutscene with an awkward pause, along with some epic BGM that doesn't play during the main levels in any way.
Look, Wendy's Hotel.
Be careful.
Oh man, I got this is that in style Quebec, because that's how we dealt with back in the day.
Where's the princess?
Over there. Wendy's Hotel.
Be careful. When you pinch Wendy's pennies, they pinch back.
Truly epic indeed. Bit crushed, compressed, fuzzy, all sorts of epicness. No, I think I'm inspired to make a YouTube poop myself. One that will be of equal quality to the ones from early 2007 and 2008, when these low quality sources are all we had to deal with, and people didn't really know how to, well, edit well back then, because it was a new joke subject. These aren't as good as the new ones now, but I bet I could make one just as high quality as the ones back then and make you all nostalgic. And since a rude bully named Ice Poop dared me to make the worst YouTube poop on planet Earth, I'm gonna take up his challenge.
Game. Luigi, I hope you made lots of spaghetti. Spaghetti. Ouija. Look, it's from. You gotta have. You gotta have too many toasters.
Thanks to you two, I can safely rule the Mushroom Kingdom, free from the terrible Koopaling Town.
I dare you to beat that, Ice Poop! I repeat things over and over like the ancient poopers did, and even add a modern touch by including voice clips from the god of Pokemon! Take that! Even though you're a patron, I could actually have you, withdrawal of pledge because I'm being a bit poopy. Uh-oh. But anyways, with Hotel Mario's crazy cutscenes out of the way, how about we look at what Animation Magic cooked up with the Zelda cutscenes?
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
Okay, let's end the episode. Oh, for crying out loud, what do you mean this is an old gag, people won't fall for it, and no one will buy it because you can see previews of the later half of the video these days? Okay, I guess I'll cover the noteworthy ones. Before we get into the cartoon scenes, I'll need to answer an inevitable question that someone will ask me, because I know I've had this question myself for many years. What about Zelda's Adventure? Where are the memories and YouTube proofs of that game's cutscenes? And to be perfectly honest, even though I did see it back in the day, there was barely any good material in that game to make a YouTube proof out of, since the intro cutscene's so boring it might as well just be a Lord of the Rings movie. It sure looks like it anyway. But as for the game itself, well, like the others, I haven't personally played it, but this will certainly be one I'm never playing even if I do get a CDI one day, because every other review on this planet has stated how boring, slow, and clunky it is compared to nearly every other Zelda to exist. It's not even funny to watch people play it like the two CDI duo games like Wand the Gamelon and Faces of Evil. The most I remember with this game was that back on the old days of YouTube when we only had Quebec Gamer cutscenes, the only ones they bothered to upload, at least people on YouTube did, were the intro and someone's gameplay at the final boss, which just looks, well, weird. And that's why no one considers Zelda's Adventure for YouTube hoops. Moving on, I honestly don't have much to say about these cutscenes either, because while in recent times I've come to find the humor in some of these random freaky scenes that play during the main story, like with Hotel Mario, we didn't even have many of these cutscenes available to view back in the day, as they were only captured by Quebec gamers. All I could remember being on YouTube when I first got wind of these games was the intro with this old dude that rambles on about his kid, my boy.
My boy, this peace is what all true warriors strive for.
And some
I'll
Arabian
grab
that flies
myself.
into battle
There is
nonsense
no
before
time.
asking me to
Your
leave
sword
everything
is
but
enough.
his sword at home.
How about
The epic scene with Ganon and the ending is another one I remember, along with the stuff AVGN showed off in his video and poked fun of.
Or else you will die. No! Not into the pit! It burns!
Same goes for Wand of Gamelon, and since they're made by the same animation company, they can honestly be considered the same cutscenes. Though at least in that game's case, I was able to see a few other minor scenes by themselves on YouTube, because I remember seeing this epic one with a knight.
You dare defy me? You will die!
Or this one that the AVGN pointed out.
You've killed me!
Good.
Of all of these random scenes that look like a disjointed mess when you only pay attention to the cutscenes and not the game itself, my favorite is this one where they show the old guy's capture, and all the guard does is sit by and say this.
You are my prisoner.
Hey!
Silence! Hectan, keep the runt in chains.
Yes, master.
Yeah, still you go folks, someone more incompetent than Officer Magnazone. But yeah, anyone on the internet who has heard of these games have most of the same memories I do with the major scenes, the epic intros, the epic words, and the epic facial expressions. Quite an odd subject to start this new season of Eternal Memories with, especially considering how I planned to make this episode way back in May of this year, and only just finished it now, not even bothering to write the script over the summer. Why? Well, like what it seems to be the case all the time for me, as soon as I find something super funny and obsess over it, I lose interest in a few weeks to find another funny thing. As of this script, I currently consider
Oops, my system crashed. I lost my data.
to be the new hot epic meme. But I bet in a few months I'll be thinking something else is hilarious and funny, and that's the come and go nature of memes. Still, the CDI cutscenes were memorable enough for me to make this video on, but with that out of the way, I'm finally heading back into the Pokemon world. Stay tuned next time as we look at Rescue Team's post-story once and for all and end Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 1.
No, you're not, or else I'll interrupt it non-stop and make it ultra cringy and give the videos lots of dislikes. I'm offended by the joke earlier, and I'm not convinced that you'll be able to make 2 videos next month in time for the Halloween special you promised.
Wait, what the hell? Get out my video! And that tease in the Wii U video is just that, a tease. I didn't plan it for Halloween. I just wanted to poke fun at a site I hated growing up, okay?
Oh, but I know that you have a dark side. You want to make a name for yourself, didn't you? The first YouTube channel failed, and the second one will if you keep shoehorning, pulling your stories into it, which is what I'm here to help you do if you don't listen to me. I'll only leave you alone if you disclose details of your past before you became a reviewer. During the middle of your teenage years, the embarrassing things you did to get famous, revealed to the world, your dark shadow realm, open up and will destroy all the PR contacts forever.
Fine. I'll do it to shut you up and put you away once and for all. Until I decide I need you to near. I'm not gonna go into ultra detailed ways to age range on my video next time, but next time, for Halloween, I'm going to explain everything about the 2 websites I tried to make a name for myself on before making my own review website, and, well, meeting the friends I met for today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the Shadow Realms, known as DeviantArt and FanFiction.net. I'm gonna explain mostly everything about my past on those two sites, from the stuff I did to try and get popular, a rise of popularity I did not expect, and how me trying to be normal led to my downfall on one of those sites. And yes, just a little bit, I'll touch on stuff I wrote that I really cringe at today and wish would go away forever. And it mostly has. So, I'll see you next time as for Halloween, we look back at my personal demons, DeviantArt and fanfiction.net. But after this, I'm making that Pokemon Mystery Dungeon retrospective because I'm not getting procrastinated again. Seriously, every time I work on that, I get procrastinated. But at least I got the third floor Red Rescue Team now. Now I'll be exposed to the sky without falling asleep. Anyways, see you next time. Bye.